This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And I'm Andrew.
And if you guys don't remember Andrew, I would forgive you for that since he's missed a few podcasts here and there.
Yes,
But
yes.
he's back in action, and Will is not. So there's that. Will be back
Right.
next week to discuss the other next gen console we're not discussing today. So today is all about the PS5 and whether or not it is worth your time and money yet. Now, if you don't remember, the PS5 came out in November of 2020.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a year and a half to almost we're getting on 2 years
Was it?
old at the end of this year.
Yeah, it's been 2 years. And
And
if
nobody
you're
can get one still.
if you were like me, unable to get one, then moved cities right when they decided to drop one in the city I used to live in, and then had to wait until just this last weekend
Finally got one.
until they finally dropped at the store that is close to where I live. So
Lucky guy. Okay, so
finally got it, but you have to buy the bundle that's available. That's the only downside.
what bundle did you get? What came with it?
So my bundle, obviously, I got the one that was disc reading
Yeah, I
because
wouldn't have
I'm
bought the
not.
non-disc. That'd be
Yeah,
silly.
screw that. It came with an extra controller, the double controller charging stand, and then it came with the New Horizon Forbidden West, is it? Or I
Yeah,
think,
Forbidden West. That's right.
and then the um, Gran Turismo game. So that's what was all involved in that, and not terrible price.
That's not
But
a PS5.
and then I ended up picking up a couple of other games just because I was there. So
Yeah, and you said you got Elden Ring. Did you get Demon Souls? That's like one of the few like
no, I
major
got Elden
exclusives.
Ring and Ghost of Tsushima because I have been one of those people who was like, "Ah, I'll be getting a PS5 soon. There's no reason to buy it for the PS4." And then I just kind of stuck to that narrative all the way up and now. That was me being optimistic for 2 whole years.
And what was your ultimate decision-making process to get one?
Obvious. Well, let's be honest. It's once it's time to upgrade, it's time to upgrade, right? Like the games are gonna start coming out. I'm sick of like you're buying games, but you might be getting a PS5 soon. So hey, pay an extra $20 to get the PS5 edition with the PS4 edition. So the game is no, fuck that. I was like, no, it's time. It's just time. One dropped. I'm like, I'm gonna get it as soon as I can finally get one. I wasn't under like any pressure to get it, so to speak. But it's like, oh, if it's available, I'll just swing over and pick one up if it's available.
Now, what do you think of the controller?
So honestly, it Sony. I'll say this about the Sony controllers, right? Every single time the next gen console comes out, you know how it feels like a legitimate upgrade. The
Yeah, it
controller
feels
has
like it for a minute.
every time. This one does feel like an upgrade over
Okay.
the PS4 controller. Like the weighting, everything about the weighting, just the build quality and the feel of it so far has been pretty good. I would say I like it more.
Okay.
And then that console though, I don't care who you are, you're not prepared for how big that bastard is. That's all I can say. Your TV stand, whatever, gaming console holder you got, that thing is not ready.
Yeah, it
It's
definitely does not.
it's not ready,
Did you have to
especially
upgrade, or did
since
you just stick your PS5 next to your
it's
next to?
standing next to it at the point at this moment. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be vertical onto the side over here. Yeah, it's like no, it won't fit inside. It's like weirdly wide and
Yeah, at the
long.
bottom, right?
Yeah, it's weirdly wide and long, and it has that stand, which gives it that a little bit of
So
extra
yours is
height
vertical.
too. Yeah, I'm doing it vertical, so it doesn't look as weird outside of the TV stand.
It looks like my dehumidifier in my basement, and like a mini version of that. That's what it looks
Right,
like.
right. You just gotta set it next to it so it looks, continuous.
Just put it on top. It could be like the
Yeah, put it on
dad
top
with the
so
kid on his shoulders.
right, right.
Uh, it kind of reminds me of when they went that route of doing something entirely different with the PS3.
Yeah, I mean, but the Fat Boy wasn't that. It was big, but it fit everything. You know, it wasn't weirdly proportioned. I like the PS5 because obviously you can tell that it was designed with like heat the
Yeah, well, yeah.
fans and heat, getting rid of the heat. So it's like I'm okay with it because my PS3 and PS4 were always just sounding like they were about to burst into flame. But
Well, I took mine apart, cleaned out all the dust, and it sounds great now.
right, it's
I
like
had
the
to take apart the
nighttime of it.
PS3 and the PS4 Pro
Right.
to clean both of them out. I just did it the
But
other day.
maybe that's why they did it, so it doesn't fit the TV stand, so that you're less likely to get the dust just clogging in that confined space.
Maybe.
It was just a long con there. But no, it's honestly I'm still getting used to the UX on it, just because
Yeah,
like
because it's slightly different than the
it
4.
is. I'm not 100% sure that I prefer that to the PS4s at the moment. Obviously, just because I'm used to the PS4s. But there's some benefits to it. It's definitely weird though that you have to press the PS button to do certain things in the like main menu area. Yeah, it's like so for like closing games and stuff, there's like, oh, here's your library and like scrolling stuff, just like the normal um PS4 one kind of,
Mm-hmm.
just smaller. It's like not as it's not centered in like dominating the screen kind of thing because they're like doing more to like show you stuff about the title
Mm-hmm.
in the background. But like when you're on it, if you want to like close out your game that's suspended in the background, you have to press the PS button again. And then there's like a little drop, like a little menu along the bottom that comes up with different options. So it's like definitely the weirdest part so far.
Yeah, because
But
I always felt like the most intuitive OS that the PlayStation team ever came up with was the cross media bar.
right, I think I'm trying to think of right now. It's not in front of me. I've only had it for a week, so I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. But like they got rid of. It feels like instead of having like the PS4 how you have the top menu and then you have like the center menu with the games and stuff.
Sure.
It's kind of like combined a little bit at the top, and then at the bottom, like some of the features that you would have expected in that center as like your options are now like at the bottom, and when you press the PS button,
Now
kind of
I'm
like
gonna
to
pull
try.
up the menu.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm curious.
let's do that. Then I don't have to try to remember my limited time method so far. But
Find it. Oh, and apparently it jumped out of my. Why is it not in the? There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. Images. Oh yeah, that is weird.
right, yeah, put it on the full screen so people can see
Hold
what
on,
we're
I'm gonna
talking
pull it up
about.
right now. Just give me a second. I'm gonna get a good full picture of it. Oh, it's not letting me go to the. Can you still see me?
You froze.
That's what I thought. Okay, there we go.
Okay, you're back.
Oh, it like completely got me. Hold on a second. All right, I've got the menu pulled up. Let's get this thing going. Let's get it going. Okay, here we are. When Push Square actually loads, because it's a slow website apparently. There we go.
See, yeah, it's like they kind of combined it with like the upper menu now,
Yeah, I see that.
and then you gotta. Do you have one where you gotta see what it shows when the PS button gets pushed?
You would think it would be in here. Apparently not. All right,
Apparently
let's go.
not.
Let's find another one.
Let's see.
Is it this one would be kind of like that?
No, that's just what it does now when you go across games. See, it's
Huh.
like it's kind of weird because your
Is it
titles are
this?
really minimized. Nope, it's not that. Keep
Because
scrolling down.
I actually quite like the PS4's UI, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's super weird, but that they changed it so drastically.
Huh. Is this wait? Is this a good representation?
No, it's different than that. But it would be like that, but now it's like really small. Like it's really small little images. It's right there, right there.
Which one? That one?
Or it's so when you click on that.
This
That
one?
one.
This one?
Left. No, left.
Oh, that one?
That one.
Oh,
Do you see the
okay.
little thing at the bottom? Now
Yeah,
that's where all
what the
your
heck?
options are.
That is bizarre. Obviously, this article had nothing to do with what we were
So the
talking about.
concept, like that concept is garbage for what the screen looks like now. But when you're down at the bottom, that's what it looks like.
Huh.
And you have to press the PS button.
To
Like
pull that
I
up.
can't. Yeah, you just have to press or hold. I can't remember.
Is
At
it
the
kind of
moment,
like when
but
you swipe from the top on an iPhone and you get that control panel?
yeah, it's
Okay,
like that.
that makes sense. That's weird. Why would they do that?
Right, and it's like so. It took me a solid bit of time to figure out how do I close a game that's suspended in the background. And I felt stupid because obviously I'm going to just play around with the controller instead of looking at the instructions.
See, I don't like the changes to the Xbox menu either because it is not intuitive.
What
And
did
then
they
when
do
you,
to that one?
well, let me rephrase that. The Xbox 360 had a pretty decent UI. And then when they
Oh,
changed it to the Xbox One, like similar to that one, it got kind of weird. And I still prefer the original Xbox One's. It was almost like the cross media at one point in time. The
yeah,
Xbox
isn't
One.
it? It wasn't it very similar to what the.
Well, they changed it to match the Xbox Series X, and I'm not the biggest
Okay.
fan. I'll pull it up real quick. The Xbox One UI is confusing and not intuitive at all. Xbox One UI 2022. Let's see if I can find it in here. And I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's not. It's a little too complicated in my opinion. It's not intuitive at all. It's got your 3 most recent games, and then you have to go into a different menu to see all of your games. I'm just not a fan. I'll be honest.
Yeah. See, it's not that bad though.
It's not bad, but they had a better system before that. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't think.
It shows
I
like
think.
it's all of your most recent things across the top there.
See, I feel like what's below it is just clutter.
It is exactly
I
like
feel
I
like
could have
why
it should
are
just be
they?
2 rows of my 10 most recent things,
No,
and
why
then
does
the
it have to be
apps
two
next.
rows? Why does it have to be 2 rows? Why can't they have something that's like if you go down, you can get to it, but like it shouldn't be dominating. You're currently on the Halo game, right? You're in your games. Those should all be dominating your screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Row number 1 is your 5 most recent games, and then 6 through 10 could be right below it. That way, you could be into all of those 10 games you've been recently into in like
Oh
seconds,
no, I'm saying
especially with Game Pass.
they should keep it 1 row.
You think so?
Yeah, I think you know how the PS4s is,
You're talking about like it being like the Switch essentially, then.
or like the Switch. Yeah, it's just 1 row. Make it where it dominates the screen. If you want to go down to the next row, it's like makes it a whole new row, like a whole new screen
Well,
domination.
that's okay. Now you're getting to my issues. So the Xbox One, Xbox Series X UI now. So the first screen kind of makes sense. You got your games, your most recently used stuff. You got friends, and then Game Pass advertising, and then Xbox Microsoft advertising
But
products.
they shouldn't dominate the
Let me
screen.
finish. And then when you go down a row, it's like this weird, unintuitive screen of things that you didn't create. And then there's another
Oh,
thing down. There's like another unintuitive screen of things you didn't. It's like the weirdest thing. The only one that
okay,
makes
but
sense is the actual home screen.
click on the PS5 menu again, real quick,
Okay.
because we got when you compare the way that they did it, right? Go. Let's ignore this and find the actual like
The one that we were looking at just a second ago.
the actual representation of the Ratchet and Clank one is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
How to disable the PS5's menu music, because that's important.
no, you can mute. That's actually really amazing now. You can straight up mute your TV completely. Like all sound coming from your PS5 can be muted from your
Interesting.
controller. So it's like that's a nice
I mean,
feature.
Xbox has always been able to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice addition to PS5. Like okay, I kind of like this. The more I see it, right? I kind of like it.
I still think PS4's is a little more intuitive.
Okay, so like my biggest problem
But
with
Cross Media Bar was even better than the PS4. I'll be honest. I think Cross Media Bar was the best.
So my biggest problem is just that I feel like the menu itself is a little small.
Yeah, it's hard to read unless you got a big TV.
Right. But I guess what they're going for is that you're going to be reading the back screen.
Yeah,
But my problem with that is that then makes it hard to just scroll through the games. Like if every single one of those is a game title instead of like the weird menus, right? The
sure.
little like you're gonna have to basically, if you don't know what the thumbnail is intuitively already, you're going to have to rely on the big screen
Does it
background
default to the
loading.
PlayStation Store every time you boot up, or do you get to rearrange the menu icons?
Um, it does, I think,
Default.
default to that store just
Because
like on the
having the
PS4.
advertised games across the bottom the second you boot up would be like that would make me mad.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, really. I haven't really noticed a problem with it,
Okay,
mainly because I just go straight into a game. But
fair enough. But
right.
yeah, I would just that would annoy me because like the same thing with Xbox. Anytime I see advertising on Xbox, it's like, what am I paying $60 a year for Xbox Live for?
No, you know what? I understand advertising associated with the store and letting you know what
Sure,
games are
but why
coming
is this?
out.
I've paid for the console. Why am I getting advertised
Okay,
to if I don't want to
let's
be?
be honest. At least PlayStation's doing the games. Xbox has traditionally done way too much advertising for like services. Like just
I mean, fair
things
enough.
that have nothing like cable. Like I'm sorry.
That
I
was the
still
Xbox One big misstep in 2013.
right. I still hold it against them. They like have did nothing but advertise like ESPN. Like,
They have done a lot of ESPN advertising. That is true.
yeah, it's garbage. It's not a gaming console. They wanted to be a TV box. That's really what they wanted. But yeah, no, so far I have to say one thing though about the PS5, and it's like it I think it captures, the mat, like when
This
you
is probably the
compare.
worst PlayStation UI ever. The
Is
PlayStation
that the
Vita UI.
Vita?
Yeah, hold on, it's not showing up. There we go.
Yeah, the Vitas.
Like
I
I
hated the
like the
Vitas.
Vita, but the UI is not very good.
I hated it.
It's basically a mobile phone app or mobile phone UI.
Poorly done mobile phone.
It's usable.
All right, but like what I was trying to say, remember how like inspired, like just awesome the PS3 was when you first got it?
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Just but it was better than the PS4. Like getting it
What do you mean?
started.
Oh
Like
yes,
excitement factor, right? Like
even though it tanked hard on sales in the beginning, yes, the PS3 was an exciting console to boot up for the first time and play the games because it was a huge step up from the PS2. You're going from standard definition to high definition.
But not just that, like the packaging of of the boot up, the way it makes you feel.
Unboxing my first PS3, which was a fat 80 gig, but it was the non-backwards compatible version, was an experience in and of itself.
Right. And then when you see it booting up with the music and the visuals and all of that,
for sure.
I'll say this: the PS5 does exactly the same thing, but does it even better. Like even better.
I have a hard time believing that.
No, it does it like the actual setup for it. They make it feel like it's like I don't even know how to describe it. Not only do they have the music and everything, just and the visual, like just that stupid flowing graphic in the background and stuff, in like just the pure PlayStation personified, but they've also done it where they tell you, oh, put a disc in and it will install while you do setup. So like you can basically play a game.
It's like got the magic.
Yeah, like it's like as soon as you're done with setup, your game has now been booted while you were doing it. So now you can just go play the game that you most wanted to play.
It's showing off. It's
showing off, yeah. And then like it has all the stuff where it's like, oh, you can start the background download of things from your PS4 if you want to transfer it over. And it's just like,
did you do that?
Just a couple things.
Okay.
It's one or two of the games didn't work because I guess they weren't compatible or they're just trying to sell a PS5 version.
Okay, so the PS4 to PS5 upgrade works great when you're just putting a disc in and playing it that way.
Right.
Doesn't work so
Doesn't
great
work
when
for
you try to
digital.
migrate.
Yeah.
It doesn't work so great when you're trying to migrate. You can actually migrate the licenses physically from a hard drive on the PS4 to the hard drive on the PS5. You can
Some
do
of the
that.
games don't though.
Some don't.
Some do, some don't.
But
And
like
that's what I want.
99% are supposed to be compatible with the PS5.
Right. There's like one game. I think it was. I can't remember if it was Overcooked or not. There's like one game that wouldn't work. I don't remember. But it wasn't really the important thing when I was doing it. I have to figure out what disc games are fully compatible.
Most of them are. If you have the disc and you put it in, for the most part, it should work.
Right. It's super weird because they do like it does explicitly label things PS4.
Yeah, it
In
does
the
that on
menu.
purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like the PS3 would explicitly label things PS1 or PS2.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
So when
have
you put
much
it when you put a
experience
PS4
putting
disc
PS4
in, what does it do?
I haven't done a disc yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No, man. I downloaded Ghost of Tsushima and that's all I played.
Oh, you
along
bought
with a little
so
bit
you
of
bought most of your games digitally.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I bought the disc for Ghost of Tsushima.
You just had to download the patch and the updates. Okay.
I was talking like the games I downloaded to bring over to PS4. I only brought like the little ones.
Okay.
I can't remember if I tried bringing over Kingdom Come Deliverance. I still have to check. I think that's a game that I can't play, which is a little disappointing.
The question I have for you then: do you think it's worth trying to migrate things over, or just keeping both? Because you're gonna lose disk space, or solid state space, I should say.
Right.
Is it worth moving it over, or should you just keep your PS4?
So the weird thing about the PS5 is it's like they're doing something different now, right? Where they're expecting you to upgrade the amount of space.
Yeah, they have the NVMe storage. Yeah.
Yeah, their manual explicitly shows you how to.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, so it's like I think that's gonna fill up fast no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're always going to be you're just gonna look to upgrade that storage space.
I mean, I did with my PS4 Pro. I went and got a solid state 1 terabyte.
I wouldn't like immediately get rid of the PS4. That's not like in my cards at the moment. So I would keep it unless you're like only able to get your PS5 by trading in.
Well, I mean, yeah, in that case, you're not planning on keeping it anyways, right?
Right. Like,
but
if you can
I'm
only
just saying in
get
the case where you have both, and I know
people have
Will
always kept things though. It's like it's kind of weird.
For example, Will has already talked about potentially dumping an Xbox One just because there's no point in keeping a Series X and an Xbox One. I didn't know if you had the same revelation with the PS5 and the PS4.
I think I have to wait and see a little bit. I'm kind of debating, right? Because with the PS5 and PS4, they have that remote play
right
really synced in. So it's like maybe
you can basically have a PS5 in a different room.
Right. That's kind of what I'm like. That's kind of where I'm at with it, right?
That's kind of why I don't want to ever get rid of my PS4 is because this only works remote play with the PS4 and it works really well.
Right. Like that's where I'm debate. Like that's my debate at the moment, I think, and my reluctance to say definitively, because it could be pretty useful. Like if you wanted to have one in the living room, one in your bedroom, like right there, that's like
kind of like the PS TV and the PlayStation 4. I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but the PS TV is basically the Vita, except a non-portable version. It's like a little box, and it actually let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
So the PS TV, if you hook it up to a wired Ethernet connection, it is literally that exact function. It can do PS4 in any room in your house with no lag.
The other important thing to remember too is that if you have the PS4 Pro, right, or Slim, that thing doesn't take up shit for space. Like
it does a little bit. It's bigger than you think. I don't know what you got, the Slim or the Pro.
But I got the Pro, and it's not that bad.
Really?
Especially if you put it vertically.
I think it takes up a decent chunk of space, but the space I've got it in is probably why I feel that way.
Well, I mean, I have it in a TV a stand right
Mine's on
now,
an
and it's
entertainment shelf next to my big. I got a 4K by the way now finally. So
oh,
if you ever come over again, it's a much bigger TV in the living room.
it's just in it's in one that like it closes nicely. I finally put that thing on its side to be vertical, and it like
Did you get
I'm
the
like,
official stand like I did?
yeah,
Yeah, that
it's
stand actually helped cut down on the fan noise.
right. It has, and it's just like it fits so nicely when you have it vertically like that. And it doesn't take up much for shelf space because it can basically be just against the wall of the shelf.
Versus the PS5, which is a monolith.
Yeah, like I don't think I appreciated how small the PS4, even the Pro Edition, was until I got that PS5. It was like 3 times as big.
Is it that? It's not that much bigger.
I shit you not, man. It's huge. It's huge. It's at
All right,
least
I'm pulling
too
up a
thick.
picture. I'm pulling up
It's
a
at
picture.
least too thick.
Holy cow! I did
Yeah,
not.
pull it up. Pull it up for people to see. Pull it up
What
for
the
people to
heck?
see. The
All
thing's
right,
at
I'm
least
pulling up right
it's at
now.
least two
Look at this
pros.
compared to even the
Yeah,
Xbox Series X. I didn't really. Wow,
yeah.
that's impressive. Like
It's like
how?
two. It doesn't look that. And it's very slimming and white. Pull up the one next to it, left. Or yeah, there you go. Look, it's like at its widest point, it's like two of those.
That's insanity. I mean, like the PS. I always felt like the PS3 was big, but
No,
it's not
this thing's bigger
compared
than
to
the
this
PS3.
thing. Well, the PS3 is heavier. It is actually heavier. The one I've got is like I think they said 12 pounds.
Oh, pull up the one that's dimensional. Shows the dimensions down there.
This one,
Middle,
okay, yeah,
yeah.
we'll pull it up. Let me see if I can get this one in the.
Doesn't give us the width, but it's look at that.
I mean, I'm gonna pull up the image to make the image big.
It's a whole 8 centimeters
That's
tall.
insanity. Like that's big. That's huge. I mean, we're talking, yeah,
Yeah,
8, 9. It's but the slim is 12 meters taller.
compared to the small one over there.
Yeah, and you can't get the Pro anymore. So I was reading. I
Oh,
don't know if
you really can't?
yeah,
I've been
the
looking.
Pro is discontinued and the regular PS4 is discontinued. The only
Okay.
one you can still buy at stores, I believe, except where there's extra stock for the Pro just still existing, is the Slim. They basically cut everything but the Slim 1 terabyte. That's it.
Well, look at that though. The thing's like 3 slims.
Like
Thing's 3 slims wide.
volumetrically, it probably is about 3. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Did you know that the PS4 Pro stand, the official Sony stand, is actually the same as the Slim stand? It's exactly the same. It's just different. You flip it vertically 180 degrees, and the screw holes are different. That's it.
Wait, what?
The stand for the PS4 Pro is the same as the stand for the PS4 Slim.
No.
You turn it 180 degrees, and you screw in different holes. That's it. Same stand.
Well, I didn't buy that stand.
Oh, I bought the official Sony stand.
Okay. Well,
It was
I bought
like
a different
$40 on
stand
Amazon.
that is just like a groove plastic thing, which is
No, I bought the
completely
official Sony one, and it literally completely changed the way the fans and the system would vibrate on really ridiculous. So I wonder if the PS5 has any of the frameless issue or not frameless, non-frame limiting issues that I had with the PS4 Pro. So the PS4 Pro has like a frame, a non-limiting frame mode. I'm not sure what the right word is, but it's not uncapped. It's uncapped frame-wise on some games. So Infamous Second Son was one of the first games to come out on the PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put that into the PS4 Pro at the uncapped frame rate, it turns the PS4 Pro into a jet engine. Like that game is notoriously
PS4
bad.
Pro loved Infamous.
That game is ridiculously
The
like
game was
I want to say it was hitting faster than 60 frames per second, and it was doing it at like the most ridiculous performance levels. I could not believe what it was doing.
That makes me think now. That one is definitely. I hope that one is compatible with PS5 because I'm definitely
Infamous Second Son. I would hope so.
Yeah,
That's a great game.
I hope so because that was a really good launch title. I'm not gonna lie.
So going back to that, then does the PS4 or PS5 give you enough in frames per second difference from the PS4 and games that you've noticed at all?
Oh, I've noticed it's an improvement. It's
Okay.
an improvement. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, even it's gonna sound silly, even something like FIFA, right? You can tell the difference between, like, because there's just a feel to the game that's different, which it was weird when I first started playing it. Like, those are the two games I've played so far: Ghost of Tsushima and FIFA.
You haven't booted Elden Ring yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Why am I going to in parallel play Elden Ring and Ghost of Tsushima? I feel like why would I do that?
I don't know, but I have heard that Ghost of Tsushima is a really great game, and it's actually by the same company that made Infamous.
Yep, no, that's why I was surprised when I first heard that, and then it's like I'm playing it. It's like I can kind of see it.
But
It's
what
like,
is great about that company is I remember when the reviews came out for the original Infamous on the PS3, and one of the reviewers said this is the best PS2 game on a PS3 because
it's a bit
of the way
harsh.
it looked. Just because the way it looked.
That was a bit harsh. It actually looked good.
I would agree that it looked good, but the art style definitely matched more closely with the PS2.
It was, maybe the art style, but the quality of the picture was
I
1,000
don't
times
think people
better.
really understood or appreciated what the company was doing when it came to the Infamous series. I still don't think to this
I don't
day
think
really
people
appreciate it.
appreciate what the mechanics were, the
That's true.
gameplay mechanics, and how
It was very forward thinking.
there's games, right? There's games that people shit on because all they care about is graphics. They're just
Right.
graphic whores, and the like, okay, so Infamous, when it first came out, is one of those games. Then Mag, that game.
Yeah.
I don't think people appreciate that you literally had a multiplayer shooter on PS3 with 256 players on one map. I
You
don't think
always come
people
back to
appreciate
this.
that. Yeah, yeah, because every time you would look at reviews for the game, no, what did the reviews talk about? Not the gameplay being pretty damn good. No. I was like, oh, the graphics suck compared to COD. It's like, okay, go have your circle jerk with 12 players max. I'll be
So
over here.
here's the next question then.
Okay. And
What?
also, wait, just going back to that real quick, I'm salty about Mag because instead of coming out with Mag 2, which would have saved Zipper Entertainment, they came out with SOCOM 4, the worst SOCOM of all.
You know,
And then
I'm just gonna plan that we're gonna do a entire podcast about Zipper Entertainment, so you can get this all out of your system in the future.
there's no getting that all out of my system. There's just not. It's a long thing and then they made Unit 13 for the Vita before they died as a
We're
company.
we're
Gaming
definitely
studio
we're
again.
definitely gonna do a podcast on that, just because it was definitely groundbreaking in putting out that 256 player game on a PS3, which is insanity.
Right. And that wasn't like late. That wasn't even late stage PS3.
No.
That was early.
I think that the PS3 actually lent itself in a way that most other consoles have never done to do that kind of a thing,
Right.
because the cell architecture did a really good job working together with other PS3s.
Mm-hmm.
So even over the internet, I imagine they could have worked together to make that happen in a way that makes sense for the cell architecture.
I'm just still mad that they didn't make Mag 2 instead of going with SOCOM 4.
All right,
That's where I'm at. Go
we
now.
need
You
to
can
get
ask
back
the
to we need to
question.
get back to
All
the PS5 here. All right, so you finally bought the PS5.
right.
Is it worth the money you paid for it?
I'll say that even though you're stuck buying a bundle, right? The bundle is fairly priced.
Well, yeah, because the bundles in general. I just meant, like, is it worth the 500 base price that it's required to get it?
From what aspect are you asking this? Like,
Do
I
you
guess
feel like there's enough there
perspective.
to justify $500 purchase?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have to admit that there is. I have to admit that I wasn't urgently seeking it, just because there's enough support for PS4. probably because of how hard it has been for Sony to truly roll out the PS5. There's been enough support for the PS4 to make it where one shouldn't feel like they must get a PS5. I'm more than ready to admit that. But at the same time, you can kind of tell once you have a PS5 that things are being throttled for the PS4. Like there's two tiers of Sony gaming right now. There's PS5 and there's PS4. And if you want the better system, you might as well just upgrade. It's no different than how games lagged for the PS4 at first. It's the same scenario.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's say that I'm an Xbox owner by trade forever. Well, and I was considering getting a PlayStation console today to play the library of PS4 games like Spider-Man and whatnot. Is it worth it if I? Well, I mean, obviously in the current economy, the PS4 is still a lot more than it should be.
You'll be future proofing yourself, so it'd be more worth it to buy a PS5 than to go out and buy a PS4. I just can't help but say that it's more economical.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same page because
because
I kind of actually disagree. I have found PS4s on the range of like $175 to $200. And if all you're looking to play is things like Spider-Man and the exclusives that are on the PS4 to begin with,
no. Okay, you gotta look at it this way though, right? Those exist. They were highly successful on the PS4.
Yeah.
You really believe there's not going to be a sequel for the PS5 within the next 4 years?
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I think that it can be economical to buy a PS4 even today.
Yeah, I guess I'm not saying
you can get your money back out of the PS4. Honestly, I think that's.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think the
PS4 is doing this yet.
Not yet.
And the PS3 is starting to do this a little bit. You know, the PS3 is starting to go up in value.
I'm just gonna say that I think I don't know. I'm the type of person who would prefer to be on the latest console and not and be able to like future proof myself a little bit on that, especially since the games are backwards compatible.
That's a fair point.
So it's like you get the PS4 with the PS5 basically.
My main reason for holding out, I'll be honest, my main reason for holding out and getting a PS5 is that they removed remote play support for the Vita. Because that is like that's the biggest reason I went and got a PS4 was because I can play legit console entertainment, not what the Switch can do, on a portable device that is a gaming dedicated handheld. And that's the main reason why I'm in the party of people that are going to get a Steam Deck. I know you laugh about that, but I'm so excited about getting that.
I'm sorry.
Well, the Steam Deck will be PS5 remote play compatible.
Oh,
so
will
even if the Steam Deck can't, because you can put Windows on it, and Windows has remote play capabilities.
I just find it funny, but yeah, it's one of those things where because you love the Steam Deck so much without having it.
I'm just saying like that's the whole reason I want it is because I like the Vita for remote play. I like the Switch for undocked play. I like portables. I have found out that I'm a portables kind of guy.
Yeah. I'll just say that I do think overall the PS5 is worth it because like not only right now like Horizon Zero Dawn, right? That was one of the best games on PS4.
Yeah, technically speaking, yes. I'm not a huge fan of that specific series because the controls were always funky for me.
Well,
but
yeah,
yes, overall people like that.
As far as fan bases go, it was one of the more successful exclusives that Sony had.
I would definitely agree. I actually technically still have a copy of it because they gave it to me on PS Plus after I traded it back in like within a couple of weeks of me selling it.
The thing I have to say about that though is like right now the Horizon Forbidden West, right?
Yeah.
That is the equivalent to like Infamous. When it comes to what games are out. So I would say that being as objective as possible, that PS5 has had a very similar launch as PS4 did when it comes to quality of exclusives that they have overall, especially since they do have access to a lot of the titles that came out for PS4.
And that was one thing that the PS4 really lacked, was the access to the backwards compatibility. And I think that
they
PlayStation really nicked themselves in the, cut themselves off at the feet when they decided not to include backwards compatibility in the PS4.
I think
because it's an easy thing for Xbox to say, hey, we have it, and they don't.
No, but like that didn't hurt their sales at all.
I understand that. I'm just saying that, like, when it comes to the Series X is doing well because of backwards compatibility. That's the only reason I've considered getting a Series X is because of backwards compatibility.
I mean, but at least Sony didn't make the same mistake, right? So
yeah, they did not.
But when we're being honest, right? PlayStation 4 was the new phase of Sony game. PlayStation.
Yeah, it totally was.
Because PS3 did itself no favors for
right out the gate.
Right, like PS3 didn't do itself any favors for being able to do backwards compatibility with it. It was a terrible.
So
kind of had a terrible infrastructure.
Speaking of exclusives, a lot of these games we talked about are on PS4 and PS5. Let's look at a list of actual exclusives, and you tell me whether you think this would make the system worth it, and I'll also give my answer.
You're still looking at Are you looking at PS4/PS5 exclusives?
This is PS5 exclusives.
Okay.
Because you can get them on, like you said, they're hampered, but you can get them on the PS4. I'm not counting that right now. So Astro's Playroom is obviously a PS5 exclusive. I believe it comes with the console, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Is it more of a tech demo?
Yet, but it's no different than like the Little Big Planet stuff.
Right. So Demon Souls. This is one of the only reasons I ever considered buying a PS5, because this is like a reimagining Dark Souls game from the PS3 era. Because this is the original Souls game.
Yeah, this is the OG. Is it really well, I guess it's an exclusive because they didn't make it for PS4. It's not a new game though.
It's a remake though. I mean, they considered Shadow of the Colossus on the PS4 to be some kind of a exclusive remake.
I guess. I mean, that it was the. I'll give it points because it is the OG, which is the reason why Dark Souls became the cult following it has. So.
And it was done by the same company that did do Shadow of the Colossus, Bluepoint.
Right. I just feel like it's a little bit overshadowed by Elden Ring.
That's probably true at this point. Then we got Destruction All-Stars. That's probably not worth it.
That's not worth it. I hate it when Sony tries to do the one thing. Ratchet and Clank. That would be a solid one.
That's a good game. I've heard really good things about it. I heard it's a really good return to the franchise on the PS5. That's definitely
it's something that Sony should never abandon, is my take, because they tried to do it. I forget what it was. They tried to do another game in like the spirit of it for PS4.
Was it Jak and Daxter like that?
No, it was that weird. What was it? He kind of like turned into like a giant all the time. I forget what it was. I forget what it was. It was a weird. It was like a.
Oh, was it Knack?
I think
so. Of Knack?
Maybe.
I think there's a Knack 3 coming to the PS5.
Is there?
I think so.
I wasn't sure if that turned out successful or not. So it was.
How about Returnal?
I actually haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, it's a roguelike, so it's kind of one of those everything changes all the time. I've heard it's good, not great.
That makes sense.
Then there's the Final Fantasy VII Remake coming. Intergrade, whatever that means.
I'm gonna be the weird person who's not a Final Fantasy fan, so mainly because I just never got into them.
I liked the 2D Final Fantasy. I liked the turn-based combat that Final Fantasy was famous for in the JRPG space. But I'm not a huge fan of the more real-time, timed attack battles. Like I'm just not a huge fan of that, to be honest with you. So for me, the newer Final Fantasies were never as fun as the old ones.
I don't think the art. I'll be honest. The art style never really drew me in.
Fair enough.
And that's just me.
Spider-Man Remastered.
I mean, it's a remaster of a game that everyone likes. So
It's definitely worth it to the extent if you like Spider-Man, you're getting a PS5, you're going to get that.
Right.
Ghostwire Tokyo. It's a haunted game, haunted version of the Japanese capital, quote unquote, Ghostwire. I heard there's a Ghost in the Shell references and that kind of stuff. But you play as the last human in Tokyo, so it's kind of weird.
Right. I think it's going to be a
zombies
niche market, if I'm completely honest.
Probably. This game right here is getting a lot of crap.
It came with the bundle. They're trying to boost its sales. That's all I can say.
I guess it's microtransaction to death.
Is it? I heard the gameplay itself was good, but maybe.
Right, but I've heard it's like laced with all kinds of crap.
Yeah, I'm just not a big race car game person.
Forza's good, but I only play Forza for a few hours and then I put it down.
Right. It's kind of, I'm good if I can play with other people. Like,
yeah.
In the room, it's like Mario Kart over here. Like, that's fun. But then it's just like playing it. I don't know. It's never been like a single player thing I vibe with. But that's just the way that works.
So here's some new ones. This is a Forspoken.
So this is old because it didn't have Horizon on it.
I don't know if they consider Horizon to be a PS5 exclusive.
It is.
No, the new one is actually PS4 as well. So
it's on both? Okay, never mind then.
They got the PS4 stuff at the end here.
Oh.
So this is just PS5. These are just PS5 titles.
Okay.
So the remastered Spider-Man is technically a PS5 exclusive, whereas it's technically the same game running on both when it comes to Horizon. All right, so Forspoken is apparently Square Enix developed by the same people that made Final Fantasy 15. So if you like JRPGs, this might be worth it.
Right.
There's a new Horizon game, Call of the Mountain. Upcoming
PSVR that'll be 2. Good. So.
It's PSVR 2 exclusive.
That's the question. Are you ever interested in getting the VR?
I will maybe get one eventually, but I don't know, man. VR is not really how I like to play.
I'm conflicted on it personally.
I'm not the biggest VR fan.
Do you get it for the PlayStation?
If you're into VR,
do you get like the Oculus?
So hear me out. I have some thoughts on this.
Okay.
Well, for one, you don't get Oculus because it's owned by Facebook, and there's reasons why you don't touch anything made by Facebook. But if you're talking about high-end VR headsets, the PSVR 1 was the most popular out of all of them, and it required a PS4 to run. And then, so PSVR 2, it's supported by Sony, one of the biggest, like, unless you're buying, the Index from Steam, from Valve, you're pretty much not getting a first-party dev building VR games on any of the other ones.
Right. I guess the PlayStation 1 is probably going to get the best support.
Yeah. Then second would be Valve.
For dedicated gaming.
Second place would be Valve. I mean, look at Half-Life Alyx and how good that was.
Right. And then you're going to have Meta over there just doing VR.
Yeah, I'm not touching anything made by Facebook personally. There's just no way. I have too many issues with Facebook.
Fair enough.
They have enough of my data as it is.
That's going to be a good game. It's VR, so
I mean, it's going to be the cheapest. It's going to be the cheapest, quote unquote, high-end VR headset. Because when you figure in the cost of a PlayStation
camera 5, and stuff too,
it comes in a set. It all comes in the bundle. Okay. You don't need to worry about that. So the PSVR 1 headset came with the 2 controllers you needed, came with the headset, came with the ridiculously big brick of a machine that pushed.
See, I still feel burned on the OG
Move controllers.
Right.
Well, you can buy the headset without the Move controllers because that's what you need for the VR. You can literally take your PS3 Move controllers.
No, I'm just saying I've been very reluctant to go in on Sony's VR because I got burnt on the Move controllers.
That's a fair point.
Because we're going back to Mag Online. Dumbass me was like, oh,
there you go.
They have support for the Move controllers with the gun attachment that I got for Killzone over here. Hell yeah, I'm gonna play that.
Here's the Spider-Man 2. This is an actual Spider-Man exclusive.
That'll be good.
announced during 2021 September PlayStation Showcase. I do remember this. Marvel Spider-Man 2 will see both Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Miles Morales team up. So that should be a good game.
That'll be good.
All right, so now we're down to your PS4, PS5 exclusives. These would not necessarily convince me to get a PS5 because they're also on the PS4.
Yeah, but the quality of gameplay will be better on the PS5.
They may be significant enough to convince people. So let's just go through it. You got God of War Ragnarok. This will be one of the last, I think, Sony produced exclusives that goes to the PS4 as well. I'm guessing.
Probably.
But since the engine for God of War runs on the PS4, there's really no reason to drop it at this point with this new game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably going to be a great game, honestly. I've got the God of War. The graphics are insane for even a PS4 Pro. The gameplay is very smooth. I like that game.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got your Horizon Forbidden West, like you said before. That's already out.
It's out, and it'll be good. I'm just getting around to it.
Sackboy. I like how they have nothing to say about Horizon. Like there's nothing.
No, but that's because it just came out. I feel like that's
nothing to say. That's kind of hilarious.
Wait, what did they say for God of War? That's the question.
I guess they just don't need to talk about Horizon. God of War Ragnarok is that kind of sequel that any tidbit of news is poured over with a fervor, following on the narrative from 2018. God of War Reboot will be back with Kratos and Atreus, head of the world-shattering Ragnarok event, as they search for answers. They got a lot of stuff. They got a lot to say here.
I guess they're just like Horizon. No one needs to be reminded what Horizon is. Too popular.
Sackboy. Yeah, The Big Adventure. This is basically Little Big Planet 3D, right?
Yeah.
It was a launch title for PS5, but then it dropped on PS4. So interesting. And you got Spider-Man Miles Morales, which was announced as a PS5 exclusive and ended up being on the PS4.
Right. So, I think they're just trying. I think what you're seeing are things that were going to be exclusive to PS5.
Well, when you got 100 to 120 million consoles out there for PS4, you don't really want to ignore that base of people that could be buying your game.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is, I think Sony had more ambitious plans of exclusive to PS5.
I think you're right.
But I think COVID and the supply chain
really
and the lack of ability of people to actually buy the PS5 has curtailed those ambitions. So now they're just like, okay, we have to release it on both for sure. Like maybe there might have been like a wait and see thing a little bit longer, and then you're just noticing it because you don't get to compare like launch day as much.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Right.
I am always kind of late to the party when it comes to getting new consoles. So like for me, I bought a PS4 Pro in like 2017 or 2018, maybe 2016 at the earliest. I know I got my Vita the same year that my son was born. So it was 2017. I got the PS Vita, and I think I got my PS4 Pro within a year of that. So by 2018, I would have got it.
I don't remember. I'm not usually late to the console party. I actually bought a PS3 real early, like the Christmas it was coming out for. And then I did the same thing with PS4. I bought it. It came out around Thanksgiving, didn't it? I think.
So, yeah, they always come out in November pretty much. The only console in the last like 5 years or 10 years that's come out on non-November time frame was the Switch.
PS3 was the only one I had to like convince. Well, I was younger, so I had to like convince my parents to let me buy it with my summer job money. And then I just
it was expensive. It was like $600.
Right. Well, it was I'll pay for 2/3 of it. The other third can be my Christmas present. Yeah. Pro tip: do that with your presents. You get better things and exactly what you want. Only drawback is you have to work for it. Which means you'll probably take care of it better than if it was just a gift. So probably not a drawback.
I have almost all of the consoles I've bought or been gifted though. So like, I guess it just depends on how much respect you have for the possessions you have,
True. But when you have to work for at least part of it.
Yeah, I mean, like
at least
I can tell which things I owned when I was a kid versus which things I've owned as an adult that I've paid for.
Right.
They definitely have had a better treatment than when I was a
Right.
child getting them.
But yeah, no, everything else like Vita, mistakes. I know
I
you
bought my
like it.
Vita, like I said, in 2017.
Yeah, I pre-ordered that, so I got it right at launch.
Well, you're basically, when it comes to consoles, other than Switch, you're mostly a Sony guy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, not. I also had a GameCube back in the day.
I still have a GameCube.
I sold it to get. Did I put that down on a pre-order on something else? Yeah, I think I did.
Although the actual GameCube console is still worth nothing. They're like $30 to buy a new one.
Yeah, I sold it while it was worth something. So
it's all the peripherals and games that are worth something now. So then here's the next thing for you. Here's a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think that any variant of the PS4 will be worth more money in the future? Or do you think the PS5 will completely demolish the value?
No, it's going to be the Pro.
You think the Pro will be worth more money?
Yeah, because you can see it already, right? The Pro is able to play games at a higher capacity. So I think because Sony has the supply chain issues.
I mean long term.
Long term, no, this is long term. This is long term. This is why it's going to be effective long term, right? The PS4 Pro is what's going to have the longest support.
Oh yeah,
so you're going to have the most amount of exclusives still receive, and just third-party games receiving support. But as they're going to wean off the non-Pro PlayStations first.
You think that Sony will drop the regular PS4s even though they dropped production of the PS4 Pro?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, not necessarily. Okay, let me clarify.
You mean updates to make the games continue to work? Because I think that you get the 4K
updates. They're going to noticeably be downgrades compared to the Pro.
The PS4 Pro. I would agree with that. Anything they port to the PS4 will look a lot worse on anything other than
you're
the PS4
going
Pro.
to know that you're a second-class Sony citizen when
you're
much
not on
sooner on a Slim versus a Pro.
That's fair.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to say. Like,
I would agree
the support level is not going to be there because the focus is going to be PS5. Then how do we make it work for PS4? And then it's going to be fair. For the longest time, developers aren't going to want to make too big of differences, so the support's going to be the Pro, we don't have to make any changes, so they might design more around the Pro,
and then just be completely unoptimized on the PS4 regular and Slim.
Yeah.
And then it'll just run sluggish.
It might be this thing where they design it around the PS4, make it where they can upscale it for the PS5, and downscale it for the PS4 Slim and regular.
You're saying if they make it with the benchmark being the Pro?
Yeah.
As a developer, that would make sense. Yeah, I could agree with that.
I think it's going to be, for the next couple of years, the Pro will be the benchmark, and people on PS5 will get the upscale, people on the Slim will get the downgrade, and that's basically just the way that's going to go.
Because you're not going to want to make 6 versions of a game.
Yeah.
We saw what happened when 343 spent all their time putting Halo on the original Xbox One and scaling up to the Series X. Like, there's clearly a distinction between those consoles.
Right. So you're definitely going to get that, and it's the only thing. It makes sense because the PS4 Pro is good. Like, it is. If you're going to buy one, like, that's why I'm saying I wouldn't buy a regular PS4. You were asking about the economics. I don't think the economics are there for a regular PS4.
When I said you could get a PS4 earlier, when I was looking at the regular PS4, because somebody recently actually just bought a PS4 Slim, and I tried to convince them to get the Pro because it was only like $75 additional buy it now price on eBay.
Right.
And they still wanted the Slim because they like the smaller profile, which sometimes you just can't argue.
It's not that different.
But let's just get back to the apples and apples here. I was surprised to see a PS4 Pro was selling buy it now for $250, which would totally be worth it.
The person doesn't realize what the price is.
No, they definitely don't. You're right.
That's
the kind of person you got to find on eBay to buy from.
Right. No, I'm saying, like, if you go to GameStop, they're going to charge What were you saying was GameStop's price for it right now?
I want to say it's very close to like actual the
Market
MSRP.
value. Yeah.
I want to say MSRP is close to like the 350, 400 range still for the
It sounds
PS4
about
Pro.
right. But like, because
I think
it's
used
still,
the lowest I've seen from an official retailer for a used PS4 Pro is 300.
right.
That's the
No, that would
lowest I've
make
seen.
sense to me because it's still optimized to play every game.
Right.
Right. So, and they're hard to find because Sony stopped making
Yeah, they
it.
discontinued it. So the Slim is the only one that's still being made.
Right.
Probably is to showcase how much of a difference there is between PS4 and PS5.
Well,
Just like you're saying.
if we're being completely honest, when did they discontinue it? Was it
Everything except for the Slim was discontinued in 2021, I believe. Either that or it was like end of 2020. But I think it was 2020.
I can tell you what happened. I guarantee that was not what they desired to do. But the problem is that they have the supply chain issue.
So they probably couldn't keep producing the Pro as easily as the Slim.
Yeah.
But now the Slim showcases how good the PS5 is versus the PS4.
It's a dual purpose decision. If they cut manufacturing the Pro, it would have detracted from the 5 probably on the production line because
the PS4
they were
Pro
both
is
high end.
basically a PS5 Lite.
Yeah. So it's like they were able to optimize the focus attention on the PS5, and then with the PS4 Slim, it just helps make that divide much more noticeable to the average person.
That is a fair point.
Because every game in the future that they showcase is going to be showcased as a PS4 Slim. So you're not going to be seeing, oh, this is what it's like on a PS4 Pro. So anyone who sees it, even if they have a PS4 Pro, is going to be like, oh, that game doesn't look nearly as good on a Pro. I mean, on a PS4, so I should get a PS5.
Right. It'll convince people that have bought the PS4 Slim to consider upgrading.
Right.
All right. So I think we're here at the hour mark. Is there anything specific you want to discuss on the PS5?
Well, honestly, if you get it, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Honestly, it's not even from the game's perspective, right? Because you're going to enjoy the games. Also, was Ghost of Tsushima not listed as an exclusive? That wasn't listed in your exclusives list.
I don't know that. So it is a PS4, PS5 exclusive. Yes.
That list was not all encompassing.
I don't think that game is technically a PS5 title.
But it was okay.
Let me look it up. I didn't think that game
was. I bought the disc that's PS5.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's actually optimized for the PS. Let's find out.
That's fair. It still counts as a game you can play. That's a Sony exclusive.
I'm not going to disagree with that. Excuse me. I think it's just been repackaged in the PS5 box with a.
I thought it was remastered, but I could be wrong.
Is it?
I thought so.
Let's find out. PS5 upgrade. We'll see what it does. Okay, there's no free upgrade path for Ghost of Tsushima. Really?
No, it wasn't free. It came out just after. You had to buy the double package.
So yeah, okay, all right. That's interesting. It does look like I don't think it's remastered though. Is it? Yeah, it's just the PS5 a director's cut, so it's not like remastered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the director's cut. And the director's cut is technically on the PS4 as well, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I think.
Well, it's still a game you can play. You can play all your PS4 games. I'm sure it's game-wise, you're not going to really be hurting, and I'm sure that you're going to be noticing a difference between them and the PS4 any time now going forward. So it's like, I would say it's worth it, and also just from the perspective of what the console feels like, I would say it's worth it. It really does feel like an upgrade on the PS4, and it kind of brings the Sony magic back that the PS3 brought. And
yeah, the PS4 really just kind of felt like they slapped together some tech in a box and called it a PS4.
The PS4 felt like
I like the PS4 a lot. It's a great console. But yes, it feels honestly the PS4 is like the original PlayStation, I would say, has the magic, and then PS2 never felt that way for me. Whereas the PS3, I think the magic was there again.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think the PS2 was hype though.
Well,
I'll
there was
say
hype for the PS4 too.
no. That's what I'm
Especially,
saying. I think
yeah,
odd number PlayStations bring the magic.
and
Even
the
number
even numbers.
PlayStations take what was achieved with the magic and just bring the power and the hype. And that's basically what each one has done.
So the
Because
PS6 will be another black box with nothing special.
I don't think it'll be a black box. I think it's going to bring some major power hype though to the Sony catalog of games.
Probably
It'll probably be extremely impressive. It's just going
in
to be a
2028.
Which one is it that they said is going to be the Sphere? Remember that the joke ad for PlayStation 6 or something? Or is it
No, I don't
PlayStation 9?
remember that.
No, there's one. Ugh, now I have to find it. Sony PlayStation.
Let me look up the Sony Sphere console. See if it actually.
There was a whole commercial.
Oh, I see. PS5 Floating Sphere. Is it this weird thing? Yeah, this has got to be what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was a whole commercial thing.
That's ridiculous.
There's like the future of gaming. It was like a joke. I can't remember.
Well, that sphere is actually just a mock-up of one of those like floating Bluetooth spherical speakers.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
There was a different looking one too, though. I think there was one that was like red. It had some red lights to it. There's been a couple sphere things.
Yeah, I see this one though. This one is hilarious to me because it looks like they just mashed the GameCube controller into that thing.
Do you remember the boomerang controller?
The boomerang was the most ridiculous thing. But it was just absolutely insane because nobody.
This wasn't. So the thing that I'm talking about though for the Sphere was not PlayStation 5 though. It was
Okay.
I think it's PS9. 1 second. Yeah, it's PS9.
Okay.
There's a PlayStation 9 commercial. You gotta see it.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. There's a shit ton of them. It's a legit thing. So if even Sony knows that the odd number consoles are what bring the magic.
No, you're not wrong. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Is it this PlayStation 9 commercial?
Yes.
Okay.
Just pull it up. Just screw it.
All right. We'll pull it up. Oh, it's loud.
Fair use. It's not even a real thing. So let's
I
just.
know. Let me just pull it up. Oh, hold on. Video's decided not to work anymore. There we go. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. What the heck is this?
Yeah, you'll have the sense of smell. You'll feel like you're really there. It's like they said BioLink. See, they had Neuralink before.
Oh my
Elon
goodness.
Musk.
PlayStation 9, the 1990. This is a real commercial?
Yes, bro. It's
What?
a real commercial.
Well, is this what they're saying? That's what they're going to get to by the time they get to the PS9?
Yeah, they're just like playing around and imagining the future.
That's ridiculous.
But like you could see it as like as just the console concept of this stupid PS.
I definitely don't remember that. That's
You know
hilarious.
when PlayStation 9 comes out, see it was a commercial for PS2 and how it's going to become. But I can totally see PS9 in the future just being a sphere, just to go to that commercial. Just be like, okay, we did it, but we don't have the sense of smell thing. I'm sorry.
They could be like, just be like, Apple and make your Mac Pro a freaking trash can.
You know what? You can't talk. Microsoft did the same thing.
Let's not go down this rabbit hole. We're still on the PS.
Xbox and made it a literal trash bin box.
No, it's a fridge. It's all good.
Fine. Whatever.
But no, the Mac Pro, the circular Mac Pro thing was ridiculous, and nobody liked it. So they switched back to standard.
Is it better than the grater though? The cheese grater.
Probably not, because they went back to the cheese grater essentially.
Did you see that one?
No, I haven't seen it.
There's one that looks like a grater.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was better than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why people hate. Honestly, I'll be honest. I don't know why people hate the cylindrical Mac. It actually
because it literally looks like a trash can, and because you can't upgrade it. The original ones could.
Okay, if you could upgrade it,
It'd be fine. The design's
cares?
fine. Whatever.
People just shit on it as a trash can because they thought it was trash because you can't upgrade it. The actual
It
design
had a
is not bad.
it had a very proprietary architecture that could not
That's
really
all
do
things Apple.
No, because the desktop you could do upgrades because you use the Intel processor, all the RAM was standard.
But Apple has become very possessive of everything.
I think this could be a whole different podcast. We're gonna go into Apple. So let's finish up the PS5 here.
Okay.
So my opinion is, for me, the PS5 is not worth it yet. There's not enough exclusives on it. The upgrade isn't enough from the Pro. If you have a standard PS4 or a Slim, maybe it would be worth it. But I have the Pro. I don't feel like it's worth it yet for me. And they don't have remote play with a dedicated Sony handheld, which is a sticking point for me. I do prefer that method of remote play since I do a lot of remote playing as it is. So for me, in particular, it's not worth it. I think if you have a launch model PS4 or a PS4 Slim and you think the PS5 looks good, it is probably worth it for you. That's my personal opinion.
So I'll agree that if you don't have a PS4 Pro, the upgrade is more urgent. There's actual urgency to want the upgrade. You can get away with not upgrading if you have a Pro. I wouldn't say it's not worth it, because I thought that upgrade was worth it personally, because from the perspective of just future-proofing yourself, your games that you're buying will all be PS5 designed discs or downloads, which could factor in to the PS6 and what is backwards compatibly supported. So
I think that Sony going forward, because of use of PC architecture, will have to keep compatibility amongst the machines going forward.
That's fair. I'm just saying, at a certain point, it's just easier to be on the new system, to be buying the games for the new system instead of just building a catalog of PS4 titles that you play on the PS5, because you never know when they just patch the PS5 edition to be more optimized, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. If you have the option to get one or the other.
That. Right, you have to think about the fact that they might just go back and be like, well, we're going to give you this upgrade now to these older PS5 titles, since they're no longer having to be like compatible or like held back by PS4.
They will cut support eventually, especially for online games. Like, for example,
right.
I imagine a Destiny 3, if they go that route with Bungie, would probably not be backwards compatible with the PS4. And at some point, the online for Destiny 2, if it continues into the future, like 5 years, will stop supporting the PS4.
Right. So anything that you expect to play longer term or want to go back to, and you want it to be properly supported, potentially get some upgrades in how it runs, you might as well just upgrade now and save yourself the hassle of the less optimized game being run on a PS5, not performing on a PS5. Mm-hmm. So that's where I was at. I mean, I noticed it. I stopped buying games for my PS4 because I know I'm going to be getting I knew I was going to get a PS5 as soon as I could realistically get one.
Yeah, for me especially, I've noticed that I basically just, since I buy a lot of older games for older systems, I have found myself not really buying a lot of newer games for the PS4 for sure.
Right, because you're kind of in this weird no man's land between the consoles. So until you make the transition over to the new console, you're
going to spend more money when you buy the game twice than you would if you buy it once.
Right, and it's just like, it's not. I don't think you are necessarily thinking of that calculation, just to how you view gaming on your PS4, especially when it comes to seeing the new titles come out. And it's an option for you, but you're going to feel like you're getting less of a game, especially since you have to pay an extra, like, what, $20 for both editions?
Yeah, it's a lot more
sometimes
expensive.
More.
Like, I would probably be in the minority of people that keep a PS4 long term, only because it continues. It's actually hardware designed for remote play. So removing that feature would actually cost Sony more money to design it to remove remote play. So like,
well, the remote
as long
play
as I have a
works
Vita,
with the
as long as I got a
remote.
Vita, I'm gonna keep my PS4.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna work with the PS5 too. You can remote play your PS4 with PS5, so it's like
Right, but I'm talking like PS4 remote play, not PS5.
no. I know. I'm saying like even if you, unless you have to, there's no need to even trade in your PS4 to get the PS5. You
That's a
can
good point.
keep it. It's like right now I didn't trade in my PS4. I'm keeping it at the moment. I'm sure there's a way for me to get use out of it still, even if that's just like putting it in a different room. Also, all of my travel bags and stuff for Sony's games are designed for a PS4. I don't even know what the heck what bag works for a PS5. I don't want to travel with that. That's like
You take your PS4 and you travel with that, and you remote play it from wherever you're at.
right. See, I'm telling you, there's still value to a PS4 potentially. I haven't fully mapped it out, but the PS5 is not travel friendly. I probably will trade in my PS5 for the whatever Slim edition comes out in the future. But like now that's where my concern is. I think now that right there, Chris, actually I think there's a huge thing that we might be overlooking that makes the
The
PS5
model revisions.
disc worth it. The disc edition, I don't know if it's going to be available in the next model. So if you don't want to miss out on a disc edition PlayStation 5, I think there is urgency. And that
I know that
actually,
the bulk of people who buy the PlayStation 5 are getting the disc edition.
yes, I think that's where the urgency's at. I really do. That's what made me want to buy it. It's like I've actually skipped out on PlayStation 5 drops because it was only digital. So it's like I have no desire for a digital edition.
Well, yeah, then the ecosystem is entirely controlled by the corporation.
Right. It's like
there's no secondhand games.
And it's like if I ever got rid of my PS4, then I have no way to play the discs.
Right. Exactly.
Right. You can't just download the disc.
That's why I won't. That's why I won't get a series. That's why I won't get the Series S, even though it's been as low as 200. I think 40 was the cheapest I've seen it so far. I still will keep my Xbox One disc edition, and there's only one that's not disc edition, Xbox One. But I would get a Series X if I was going to get an Xbox.
So I'll say this. I think this PlayStation disc edition, right? I think it's going to be just as prized, just as valuable as the backwards compatible Fat Boys.
You think so?
I think so. Probably.
Do you think the revision will remove the disc reader?
I think there's a high likelihood. The fact is they haven't. I think there's a high chance, man. I think there's a high chance.
I think they could drop the $400 digital edition and drop like a Series S style PS5.
I think until there's backlash. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. They're going to drop the Slim. They're going to release a Pro that's. They're going to drop the digital edition. Right. They're not going to have it anymore. They're going to release a Pro that is a digital edition.
You think so?
Yes. And then there's going to be backlash because people want the disc. And then Sony's going to release a disc version after a year of backlash. That's what I think is going to happen.
Well, yeah, the more users that are digital only, the more money they make because they control the store. They keep the prices high.
So eventually Sony will not have discs. Eventually.
Yeah.
It's the PlayStation 5 is going to be the console that they slowly wean people off of discs. So they're going to have this right now where clearly there's more. I've seen more digital editions drop than disc.
That's because nobody's buying them, not as often anyway. That's because people are buying them less.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the case because every time I've gone into a GameStop, they still say they have no PlayStations. Right?
Yes, but the things that sell out first are the disc editions.
Yeah, I see that 100%. When I went to it, everyone was buying the disc edition.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is when it comes to it, right? They're still selling because Sony's not just putting out disc editions and people are impatient. They have a high time preference. They want it now. They're not patient enough to wait for.
When you're
this.
presented the choice of get a PS5 digital edition or not get a PS5, most people will just get the digital edition.
Yes, many will.
Not
They
me,
don't think
not you.
They don't think of because they don't think of the consequences.
They just know they want a PS5.
Yes. Now they're going to do the same thing with the Pro, and but they're not going to have the disc edition for the people who, like us, right? They're going to try to get the really urgent people who want to have the top gaming experience they can have with a PlayStation. Some of them bought the disc version because they wanted it during the transition over from PS4 to PS5. Those people will now lose their disc versions
just to get a Pro.
Just to get a Pro, right? Because they'll trade it in. Because that's what you do when you get the Pro. You don't keep the old one usually, and then you'll now lose another big cohort of the disc edition, and then Sony might just try to release the 6 without discs.
I think the PS5 was originally intended to be discless, and last minute they slapped the disc drive on.
Do you know why how you can tell it was intended to be discless?
Because it's like a little hump on the side that doesn't make any sense design-wise.
Because
Sony
it's not symmetrical, and Sony has never been not symmetrical.
Sony's always been, well, the PS3 arguably is not symmetrical.
It's symmetrical.
No.
It's technically symmetrical from the way it's supposed to sit on the floor. It wasn't meant to be a vertical. Never was.
It's still not. No, it's got a short stand underneath it. It's not symmetrical.
I meant like from the profile of looking at it horizontally, it's symmetrical left to right. The PlayStation
for the most part, if you look at it from the left.
Okay, let's pull it up. Pull it up.
The PS3 is definitely not, and neither is the PS2 actually. PS3. PlayStation has always had good design, but when
are you talking about with the disc? Well, okay, fine. Without the disc.
I mean, just look at this picture here. I'll pull it up right now. You can see right now. PlayStation.
Fine. If you're talking about where the disc goes in, but that's because.
Look at that profile. There's nothing symmetrical about it. Now the PS4, yeah.
All right, that's like the OG. Fine, the OG one is weirdly not symmetrical. The PS4 was symmetrical, 100%. PS3 Slim is symmetrical-ish.
It's more symmetrical. I'm just saying, like design-wise, Sony has usually developed pretty good design philosophy for their.
The PS2 was symmetrical, wasn't it?
No, it was like the PS3. It had like that little hump at the top.
Oh, because that one was meant to be vertical, wasn't it?
The Slim was. The OG PS2 was not necessarily. What I'm saying is, from an aesthetic standpoint, a lot of their disc readers and stuff, it looks like it makes sense. When you look at the PS5 with the disc reader, it looks like an abomination.
The weird humps were always around the disc reader. That is
clearly they were not thinking about the disc reader in regards to creating the PS5. It's just from a design profile.
The way you can tell that it wasn't designed into it is the fact that the way it sits horizontally is weird.
Yeah, it is. I forgot about that.
The way it sits horizontally is super. Yeah, the disc reader's on the bottom. It's not. It's the only one, right? Think about this. This is the only one that Sony's ever done where the disc reader is like backwards on the ground,
and it's backwards. When you put the disc in, you put it in backwards, right? Like the label faces inside the console instead of outside.
Now I have to think.
I believe, yeah, because you don't.
I think it is backwards. I think I did struggle with putting a disc in the first time. Now that I'm thinking about it,
you would think.
No, the
label should face out.
The label pushes. Yeah, the label is. Is it that way?
Let's see. Okay. So on the right side of your console is the disc reader, right? And when you turn it sideways, like you would a PS4, you would put it as if the glossy side of the disc goes in on the outside, facing you.
Right. Yeah, it is backwards.
Yeah, it's backwards to every other PlayStation console ever.
Yeah.
It's clearly an afterthought.
It is, especially since they had to put it on the bottom. That's why it's backwards, right?
Whereas with Xbox, it makes sense, just like every other.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the thing on the that's not.
The reason why they have it sitting that way is because they don't want you to accidentally do label side down. That's the reason it sits like that. So when it sits horizontal, you know how to put it in.
Right. It was super weird vertically, though. I will say it was super weird.
Yeah, because it's backwards to everything else you've ever owned.
Right.
Now, the other thing is, Sony actually screwed this up themselves. They released a commercial where they had the disc reader on the wrong side on their horizontal mounting.
Oh, did they?
They released an official commercial for the PS5 where the disc reader was backwards.
But I'll say this: you will like the controller.
Okay.
I like the controller. It's an improvement.
So
it's an improvement.
I think we're somewhere mixed. I think we're mixed on whether it's worth the upgrade between you and I.
I think it depends on your perspective of where you're at. Like, because I do think if you think it's going to impact like your just how you view buying games on the PS4 going forward, right? Like you're reluctant to even buy the new games, then like I don't know. Are you really benefiting from your PS4 compared to buying a PS5?
I'll be honest with you, there hasn't been a game that's come out that I've felt the need to go buy. Like I have all the games that I want right now.
I mean,
all the modern.
The new Spider-Man game that's coming out.
I thought I was going to really enjoy Spider-Man. I got it for Christmas 1 or 2, maybe 3 years ago from a family member, and I have played it like 3 times.
Okay,
I like Infamous a lot more.
Yes, let me ask you that question. That's where I was going to go with it. If they released an Infamous game,
I'd be in line.
For your PS4?
For the PS4?
Or for the PS5? Would you be getting a PS5 or would you be buying it for your PS4?
Let's put it this way. One of the few series that I play religiously came out exclusive to the PS5, I would probably buy a PS5.
Yeah, they need to come out with another Infamous. I agree with
I don't think they're going to. I think Ghost of Tsushima 2 is most likely going to come out next. Whatever the continuation of that series is.
My question is, do you think the Marvel games have killed Infamous for a while?
I think Sony is avoiding bringing out another superhero style game because of the success of Spider-Man. They don't want to compete with themselves.
Infamous is so much better.
I mean, I agree. I like Infamous better. But you're in the minority. A lot of people complained about Second Son when that came out. A lot of people did not like it because it was such a jarring change from the PS3 Infamous games.
I'll say this. I didn't like the fact that he had the 3 different powers.
I did, but I wish he had electricity.
Well, I'm saying like it was fun, but at the same time, he kind of lacked that identity.
He lacked the identity that Cole had.
Yeah.
I never felt like a huge connection with Delsin.
Yeah.
Versus Cole.
But the problem is, I feel like Infamous is basically the X-Men game that like people would like. You're just like you're basically an unknown X-Men with random ass powers that are cool, and there's a beauty to it not being X-Men because Sony's able to create an all original story. And if we're completely honest,
about the license holder getting mad at them.
Right. And if we're completely honest, if one company's studios develop legit stories and build real characters that you can give a shit about, it's Sony Studios.
They do a great job, with their story.
Their game developers are great at coming up with original IPs.
Mm-hmm.
They just are. You got between Naughty Dog.
Even barring some of the games that Naughty Dog's produced that I don't like they have just phenomenal writing.
Right. You got Naughty Dog. You got, what is it? The one who does Horizon?
Spider-Man. Oh, Horizon?
No. Yeah. Isn't that Guerrilla Games or something?
Yeah. Guerrilla Games. You're right.
Guerrilla Games, which that was a new thing for them. They were finally allowed to be creative. And like whenever Sony game studios are allowed to be creative, they never disappoint you. Not really. And then Sucker Punch over there is just killing it.
Sucker Punch, Insomniac. Insomniac is great too.
It's like, I think that's the thing, right? Sony just
Sucker Punch is the Infamous guys.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They're killing it.
In fact, I remember when
who made Spider-Man?
Insomniac. I'm 90% sure on that. But I do remember when it was announced originally. that there was not going to be Sucker Punch doing Spider-Man. Everybody's like, really? Like
I know that's surprising that they didn't have them do it.
But yeah, Sony Studios, when they're allowed to do their own thing, even Spider-Man, they do a really great job.
Right. Like that's why.
That's why I am more willing. Like if I'm going to buy a next gen console, it's probably going to be Sony.
It will be Sony.
But right now, the only next gen thing I'm buying is the Steam Deck.
Because you like single player games.
I do.
Let's be honest.
That's why that's why I buy Sony. I like single player.
Yeah. If you want, like, every multiplayer game that matters is third party. Realistically.
Halo.
Realistically.
Well, who knows what's going to happen with all these deals with Microsoft. But to be fair, the big three, the reason why you buy them. Nintendo you buy for Nintendo IP, nostalgia, and co-op. The reason you buy Xbox is multiplayer and first-person shooter game.
Sony has good multiplayer.
Not as good. And just admit it, it's not as good. The reason there are more people that buy Xbox Live than PlayStation Plus, fact. And then for the reason that you buy PlayStation is for the original IPs. And
why have you ever been truly disappointed playing games online on a PS4 on a PlayStation?
I just don't use it for that reason, and most people don't. Actually, when you look at this is overwhelmingly people game online on Xbox and PC.
I mean, I played games online all the time for PlayStation. So
I'm not saying you don't.
Maybe I'm just.
But I would say less than 40% of PlayStation's users are online, like exclusively.
Fair enough. That's just because RPGs and everything are so much better on PlayStation.
That's why people buy PlayStation. It's more. Yeah. It's like a combination, but it's more.
Hey, I'll be honest. That's why I bought a PlayStation.
I like first person single player stories. That's why I like PlayStation.
You know, I
have PlayStation Plus for cloud saving.
Hey, you know what? If they came out with a Meg 2, the rebirth zipper, just to bring back Meg, with a Meg 2.
It's a pipe dream.
You know what though? That would make Sony the best place for multiplayer.
Maybe if people actually knew what it was, bought it. But anyways, is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think we
covered the whole
to death already. That it's fence sitting, right?
It is mostly a fence sitting.
If the right game comes out, it's worth it to you.
Yes, I'm at a point right now, like I said before, just to reiterate. I have a PS4 Pro. I like remote play on the Vita. Nothing on the PS5 has intrigued me enough to get me to buy it, and I don't feel like the upgrade is worth it at this point in time. That's basically where I'm at.
But like, it's you don't think it's worth it, mostly exclusively to the fact that you are in the classification that I laid out, right? Like, you're a person who does not feel like buying the new games for the PlayStation 4 even.
That's
at
fair.
This moment. So it's like you're just waiting
for something to come out that's worth buying the PS5 for.
Right. So it's like
Demon's Souls was almost it. I was pretty close.
The PlayStation 5 is worth it. You're just waiting for the game that makes you pull the trigger.
The PS5 will. I'll say this: the PS5 will eventually be worth it.
The next, let's put it this way: the next game that you buy for PlayStation that's new is most likely going to be a PS5 title. Most likely.
There's because there's a company. I don't know if you've ever played an Atlas game, but
I'm saying a new AAA title.
Atlas is AAA. They're Sega.
Fine.
So no, just hear me out. So the reason why I say that is because Sega and Atlas are notorious for putting out a PS4 game and saying, "Oh yeah, but it also works on the PS5." There's no upgrade.
No, but that's because you know that's because you know that the developer is going to do you dirty on a PS5. Not.
So for the most part, what I'm saying is, unless it's like a specific developer, like for example, if Atlas comes out with another game, it's probably going to be on the PS4, just because they're used to developing on the PS4 and they usually wait till like the very last second to switch.
Fine. If it
was Infamous, you'd have me day one.
Yeah. So if it's Infamous or something similar, just on I don't know what
Sony got the rights to Dead Rising, I'd happily buy that.
I'm just saying it's worth it. You right now do think it's worth it. You just don't think that the game that you want to buy is out yet.
Plus, I'm waiting for the black model. I don't like the white.
You know, I agree. but at the same time, supply chain.
So no. Sony actually sells the plates, the black plates. They're like $50.
Then why not just buy the plates? You'll get it so much faster.
I probably would do that. If I bought a PS5 right now, I would be buying the official Sony black plates.
It's like at that point, you might as well just customize it all together. Like
I wish Sony would let you. Although they don't even have them in stock, so there's probably that. But
right.
when you want to buy it, they should be like, "Hey, what color do you want, plates wise?" And we'll send that stuff. But
do you know what I want?
Go ahead. They got red plates too.
I was disappointed. I fucking hate red, man. I had to get one of the controllers. The one thing I do have a complaint on before we stop this conversation. I had one complaint, and that's the color schemes that they have.
Yeah, here's the midnight black scheme. That was $55. I'm sorry.
That's not bad. That's worth it.
There it is, right there.
No, I've seen it. It looks badass.
That's actually official PlayStation.
Yeah, no, it looks nice.
And then there's the red one too. The red one kind of looks more purple.
No, the red. That's my one bitching complaint about PlayStation 5 is the colors that they pick are not they're colorblind. These fucks are colorblind. So that's actually going to turn out to be pinkish, like a magenta. It's a magenta. It's not red. It's magenta. Just like their blue. Have you seen the blue controller? It's not.
I have seen that they have a blue controller, but I'll be honest with you, the only controller that I think looks good is the black one.
I haven't seen a black one. There it is. Okay,
fantastic.
It looks nice. That's because it's actually nice. No, they have a red controller that's magenta.
I just had it up on the screen a second ago.
Yeah, I got that controller with.
Oh, did you?
Like, that was the spare controller. It's like they say red. It's like I want to sue them for false advertisement because it's not really red. It's magenta, which yes, it's a form of red, but it's not red. Fair enough. Then I'm just upset because I'm not going to get a dark forest green ever. I just see it right now. They're not going to make a dark forest green controller. They're not going to make like a midnight blue controller. They're going to have. Have you seen the blue? It's baby blue, but not baby blue. It's like off-brand baby blue. Off-brand baby blue. It's accessories.
Yeah, I'm in there. Just give me a second. Midnight Black Collection. Check it out. Oh, they have blue. They have the black headset. Is that what you're wearing right now?
No, I have this thing's still from my PS3.
Oh, okay.
Or no, it says PS4. PS4.
Oh, they got the purple though. There you go.
Okay, the purple one actually looks nice. I would consider the purple, but like, see that blue? No, that's bullshit blue. That's a bullshit blue color.
You're so angry about this.
I am. And then you got
that
this.
Is not a blue.
Nova Pink is like actually pink, but it does not look that much different than the magenta. It's like we lightened magenta one shade and called it Nova Pink.
Oh my goodness! Here's the red. Yeah, that does look.
Yeah, no, the red's not red. It's literally magenta. It's a purple red, and that blue. Like, why would you pick that blue? Like, why did they make that blue?
Yeah, it definitely does not look like like you're saying. It does not look like an actual red at all.
Right, and then it's weird because you have all the black buttons still.
The black accents, yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, black accents. But like, no, pick on that blue though. Just like.
I mean, it's not. I'll be honest. This blue is not for me or you. It's for a different demographic.
It's for women.
Yeah.
But when you think about that, like, what did they? Okay, here's what you got. You got the dude colors of black and white. You got the gender neutral.
The purple could kind of be both.
You got the gender neutral magenta purple, and then you got the ones that were designed specifically for chicks, which was that baby blue. It's not really baby blue. It's.
I mean, I could see some people get like some across the board. Some people getting the blue, but for the most part,
the Nova Pink is obnoxious.
The audience for the Nova Pink is definitely probably aimed at women. Like that's probably true. That's probably aimed at women.
My wife liked the magenta one though, so it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, gender neutral. You're looking at purple and magenta. Those are more gender neutral. That
purple. Click on the purple one.
I think the purple one looks nice. Honestly, I I probably wouldn't buy it.
Now you got to realize that the color scheme on here, it's darker than it actually looks.
I mean,
click on the magenta one real quick. I have to compare visually.
I think the red one looks like it's actually the magenta color, personally.
It's a little lighter than that in person.
Okay.
So,
I mean, against the white background, everything looks darker.
Yeah, so it's a little lighter, so that purple is going to be less dark by a little bit.
I like how he's gotten into like accessory review here at the end of this.
You caught me with the one thing that actually pisses me off because you brought in the color schemes. So I just can't believe. Okay, think about this though. I can't believe they don't have a dark blue.
They probably will eventually. I mean,
or a forest green. But those are okay. The reason I can't believe it, right, is because red, real red, okay, not fucking off color red, real red, a real blue, and a forest green have traditionally been the first three colors that they release, and are usually very popular.
Well, here's my favorite controller ever made. Oh, you can't see it. You know what this is made for?
The Nintendo.
No.
Oh.
Look where the analogs are.
Is that a PlayStation?
No. It is the SteelSeries Nimbus. It's for iOS and Apple devices, and it's actually the most comfortable and like clickiest. It's perfect. This controller is literally perfect.
Can you show me it again? I think you're gonna like the PS5 controller.
It's a lot like the PS5 controller. It's extremely similar, honestly. Like when I look at it, it looks extremely similar.
The triggers are really nice too.
This has like almost Xbox One style analog tops. I like the Xbox One style, but I also like the soft and smooth aspect of the PlayStation style analog.
I still miss the PS3.
The PS3, the was it convex or convex? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that too.
But
you can swap your analogs out. I've done it before.
Yeah, I'm too lazy. I had terrible PS4 analog.
I like how clicky this thing is. This thing is amazingly clicky.
Wait. Is the black controller cheaper than all the others? So
slightly. I think the white might be the same. Yeah, I think the white one is also $69.
I'll just buy the basic bitch ones because I don't.
It doesn't even have. Oh, I was gonna say it doesn't have a price. Yeah, it's the same price.
Okay.
So all the custom colors are $75.
So basically, the moral of the story, folks, is buy the black or white controller because you don't want to look lame.
Or you go to the store and you ask to see them all before you take one home.
That too, but I didn't have a choice. It came in my bundle, bro.
Then just sell it and get a different one.
No, it's not that bad. The magenta one's not that bad, but it's not red. You're missing my point. It's not red, and it's
well. Then you're just complaining about the same thing that Apple does. They call the color the same from one gen to the next, and it's not.
I'm just saying they're calling it.
You're just angry. All right, let's finish this podcast. You're just angry. Okay. So at the end of the day, if you're on the fence,
it's worth it.
I hope we helped you decide whether or not you need to get off that fence and buy one or not.
If you're on the fence, it's probably worth it. Let's just say that. I think you can agree, Chris.
I'm not on the fence yet. I'm still sitting on the side of this PS4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're not even on the fence yet. But if you were on the fence,
I'm waiting for that guy from the neighbor with the eyes over the fence from the old Home Improvement show to be like, you know, Tim, you really want that PS4 or PS5 console, man. That's what I'm waiting for.
Okay. You're not on the fence, but you're like super close. You're like,
I'm sitting next to it, waiting. I'm listening. Like, hey, is it worth it yet? No. Yeah. Okay, I'm good.
You're one blade of straw away from your back breaking. Okay.
The green grass on the other side needs to be really green.
Right. So but if anyone is literally on the fence,
it's probably
they're not sure.
I'll give you. It's probably worth it. Just like with the Xbox Series X. If you're on the fence, it's probably worth it.
Okay, let's tear it out. If it's important to you to get a disc reader in your PS5, it's worth it because you don't know. They might phase it out.
But there'll probably be a good secondhand market when they do phase it out.
Maybe.
Anyway, I agree with you. If you're on the fence, it's probably worth it. If you're not even considering one right now, or you're waiting for that game to come out that's going to make you make that decision, then it's probably not worth it right now because you're going to have it sit on the shelf just like any other console you buy right now.
Depends on if you're willing to play your PS4 games on it.
That's fair, but if you, yeah, that's true. If you want to play
PS4, if you have a slim PS4, it's worth it.
And you're thinking about it, then it's worth it.
If you're on the fence and you have a slim, it's worth it. If you have a PS4 Pro, you can hold out
and wait for that game
until that game. But if you find yourself wanting to play the new games, but lacking the motivation to buy them because you're like, well, I'm going to get a PS5 eventually,
which is not where I'm at.
Just buy it.
Like, that's on the fence. That's on the fence. Then you go buy it.
No, yeah, that's
you're
like on the fence. You're just like, when am I going to get it? Yeah.
Then you're on the fence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we've verdict.
I think we've done this.
Which we've beaten to death.
All right. So as always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Andrew.
And we will see you all
next time on the next CHRILLCAST.